Okay, so we're going to talk. Welcome to Thing Duality. We got some interesting topics to cover here. We're going to talk about Hollywood strikes and aliens. Yeah, a little different than what we normally talk about, but hey, it's still news and it's entertainment, and that's what our show is all about. So let's get to it.
Audio Jungle.
So the Hollywood strikes are over, right? So what does that exactly mean for you and I? Well, the recent Hollywood strike by writers and actors have concluded, but their repercussions will extend into the new year. So, meanwhile, a lot of production houses and companies involved in Hollywood that were heavily reliant on original content and advertising, companies like Warner Brothers and Paramount, are struggling and struggling to find ways to sustain their operations and to become profitable. Now, in my opinion, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these companies will become profitable once again. But for now, they're not doing so well financially. So Warner Brothers, Paramount, not doing so good, but somebody did do good, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But actors are celebrating this tentative $1 billion agreement, and which will allow them to return to work after being away for around 4 months, and so they're excited. So, meanwhile, while the Hollywood strikes have negatively affected companies, as I mentioned, like Warner Brothers and Paramount, one actually came out, emerged as a winner, and they are a giant. They're the streaming giant Netflix. They emerged stronger than ever, and they have come with they've literally pounded the market with the hammer, with their financial prowess and strength, and they have increased their subscriber gains exponentially, and they made hand over fist money. So they're doing quite well. So the twin strikes, initiated by writers in May and then followed by actors in July, contributed to a slump in the movie box office. Not particularly as striking actors refrain from promoting projects like Barbie and Oppenheimer during the summer. All that is erased now, and everyone can kind of go back to business. But Netflix, they capitalized on its global production strength, their reality TV lineup, and licensing of reruns to potentially increasing their subscribership by 9 million subscribers in Q3. In contrast, Warner Brothers didn't do so well. They faced a lot of challenges with the stock decline after adjusting 2024 targets due to uncertainties, of course, from the actors' strike and a weak ad market. The prolonged work stoppage has significantly impacted its television production business, delaying the appearance of new movies that we've been anticipating on the screen. So it's going to take a little bit more time before those movies come out. Now, Paramount Global employed content recycling strategies, such as airing a cleaned up version of Yellowstone on CBS and streamlining their NFL broadcasts on Paramount Plus. Wow. During the Hollywood strikes, Netflix, as I mentioned, was a significant winner. Their shares had risen over 37%, in contrast to Paramount, that experienced significant declines, with their shares plummeting as much as 48%. So, they're just on complete extremes here. Companies with diversified businesses, such as Walt Disney and Comcast, maintain more resilient earnings due to their involvement in areas like running theme parks and providing internet. Right, I think that would help. And so Disney CEO Bob Iger stated that the business impact of the work stoppage had been negligible. So, in other words, quite small and non-impactful. So they're doing okay. So that's interesting. Well, I'm going to talk about something that caught my attention, and you might have come across this news as well too. But the Mexican Congress held a significant session with lawmakers and policymakers to talk about the reality of, you guessed it, UFOs. And they did this how? Through providing evidence through Peruvian mummies. right? Mummies found in Peru. All right. Well, so researchers in Mexico spoke to Mexico's Congress about three-fingered Peruvian mummies, suggesting they are genuine, but stopped short of confirming them as extraterrestrial. Now, so these researchers, um, they they brought forward this unrefutable evidence indicating that they have substantial claims that aliens are real, or at least are trying to portray the fact that we need to there is something different, and that the fact that there could be aliens. I'm trying to find other words to say this, but falling short of actually referring to them as extraterrestrials. Now, they're using these images that they presented, or not images, but they actually had Peruvian mummies that they brought forward in front of all these policymakers and lawmakers, and to show them that, hey guys, look, these are aliens, and they got three fingers, and they obviously look alien-like. So in a congressional event on UFOs, journalist and UFO enthusiast Jamie Mawson presented the mummies found near Peru's Nazca lines, claiming that they were unrelated to any earthly life. While the researchers acknowledged their authenticity, they did not categorize them as extraterrestrial, leaving the nature of the remains open for interpretation. All right. Now, in Tuesday's session, journalist Jamie Mawson, this past Tuesday, aimed to prove the authenticity of the Peruvian mummies, not displayed this time, but by presenting medical experts who confirmed the bodies as real, once living organisms. Now, Mawson suggested that they could be evidence of non-earthly life forms, though scientists did not categorize them as extraterrestrial. Anthropologist Roger Zuniga presents finding from studying 5 similar specimens, affirmed their reality, emphasizing that no human intervention in their formation, or no human intervention was done in their formation of these mummies. A letter from 11 researchers at San Luis Gonzaga National University, while confirming the body's authenticity, explicitly avoided labeling them as extraterrestrial. Could they have been mummified Peruvian babies that were disfigured? I don't know. So Mawson's initial presentation faced criticism from numerous experts who considered it a debunk stunt by the scientific community. These experts cited studies on similar remains suggesting that the specimens were altered using animal and human bones. In response to these studies, Zuniga acknowledged that those specific specimens might actually be fake. However, he emphasized that the bodies examined by him and fellow university researchers were genuine. Congressman Sergio Gutierrez, a member of Mexico's ruling Morena party, advocated for a legal reform requiring the public disclosure of all UFO-related information. So in a session that occasionally delved into unconventional theories, Argentine surgeon Celestino Adolfo Piotto proposed that the studied bodies were evolved versions of current humans, describing them as our descendants. Mexican rapper Claudio Yarta shared his UFO sightings, included with the rhyming statement receiving applause. I wish I could have been at this event. The whole scientific community was, I'm going to get to that. Prior to the researchers trying to present their findings in front of these Mexican lawmakers, back on September the 13th, in an unprecedented congressional event on UFOs in Mexico, politicians were presented with artifacts by journalist and UFO enthusiast Jamie Mawson, who I talked about, who asserted that the objects were the remains of extraterrestrial beings. Now, the hearing focusing on unidentified anomalous phenomena also known as UAP or UFOs, or FANI, F-A-N-I in Spanish, marked by Mexico's first official engagement with the topic, suggesting the possibility of extraterrestrial evidence in the universe. Now, so prior to last week, Jamie Mawson and a few other researchers and members of the scientific community had previously met with these lawmakers and to talk about the reality of extraterrestrial life and the evidence supporting that they actually have proof of that. The whole scientific community in the world was anticipating this event because this was potentially going to be the breakthrough, the evidence that everybody was anticipating, and it literally flopped like the worst movie that you could ever imagine. These things that they presented look like toys or die casts of an extraterrestrial, aliens, but they didn't look real at all. That's my opinion. I don't know what side of the coin you're on. I'd love to hear your comments. Now, these two small bodies with three fingers on each hand with elongated heads definitely were alien-like and were showcased during the hearing back on September 13th. Journalist Jamie Mawson claimed that they were discovered near the Peru's Nazca lines, which are infamous. Just Google Peru Nazca lines. And they were found apparently in 2017 and estimated to be around 1,000 years old, as determined by carbon dating conducted by Mexico's National Autonomous University, the UNAM. However, previous discoveries of similar characteristics have later been identified as the remains of mummified children. Mawson faced swift backlash and criticism from skeptics this past Wednesday, who questioned the authenticity of his presentation. Now, all in all, this could definitely hurt the scientific community and hurt those who really truly feel that there is extraterrestrial life and are working hard to try to find evidence to support their claims. And it's going to hurt their efforts to take this issue seriously. So they should have waited, right? And tell me what your thoughts are on this, but I think they should have seriously waited before they actually had proper scientific evidence to back their claims and theories before publishing it and coming to the table, knowing that it's not just a Mexican Congress and lawmakers that you're presenting to, but the entire world and people who are interested in this topic were watching, only to be completely let down by these findings. So I'm sure members in my family could probably put together similar. I could probably just go to like some Halloween store and just find the same kind of die-cast models, or I don't know. Absolutely embarrassing. But who knows? Maybe they will provide some evidence and or more evidence to support their theories and claims, and maybe we are getting one step closer to really finding out if there's such a thing as aliens and extraterrestrial life. Anyways, guys, we're out of time. Quick little video, something completely different. Let me know how you guys like it, but I'll probably be posting more stuff like this in the coming months. So thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. See you in the next one.